Welcome, race fans, for the 10th season here of the Stay Tuned Podcast Truck Series. We're starting it off strong here at Daytona. Qualifying is underway. We just had pre-qualifying to get the field down to 43. It was up a lot larger than that to start off the season. A lot of guys end up going home. They'll try to see if they can make it again next week to be able to try to get in. But good, strong showing of drivers here. Again, qualifying is underway. Joining me tonight, we know him by Rish. He's going to be helping us out tonight with the producer and showing you these beautiful shots here from Daytona. And yes, I know some of you may be tired of Daytona if you did the 24. But this time around, we're going to be back on the oval. So no bus stops, no chicanes, no infield. It's full throttle racing here at Daytona. Rish, I'm happy to have you. You've been on and off here with the Truck Series and broadcasting with me. It's always a pleasure to have you on here. Starting off the season at Daytona, it's unlike any other type of sports. And to be honest with you, there's no race that you would rather win, maybe other than if you're in the Final Four at championship weekend. But other than that, for the start of the season, is the nerves about the highest you can get?
Yeah, I think you're kind of peak nerves. It's for some guys, it's a new team, maybe a different manufacturer. You're kind of getting back into it. For some of these guys, even we're going to have some new names entirely to the elite racing leagues. This is often the series that a lot of the new guys will especially come up through. So, that's all something that they have to kind of think about here heading into the first race. And of course, Daytona is its own intimidating beast as well, where you're just kind of thinking, how big it is and how much it means to actually win at this racetrack. I'm sure that's on a lot of guys' minds. Guys who have had success in the Truck Series, and again, guys who are fresh to it, guys who've won here before, and guys who have not really found that same success on super speedway type racetracks.
Well, last season, Ethan Burrell came out the champion. This year is a little different than in the last few years. We had for a while there, this was the entry level for elite drivers to try to get in. Still a lot of gravitational pull for a lot of the new guys, but now it's not a restriction to where past champions are not allowed to race or go for a championship, as you see Ethan Burrell finishing up his qualifying laps out there. Now, past champions are allowed to go back at it and try to get another one. So you're going to see drivers like Fody, Ethan Burrell, you're going to see Frankenfield out there. All of those drivers that had to be put off to racing trucks after winning the championship are back at it. So we saw strong racing all season long last year, and it was tough. It was tough. Some of the toughest racing we had seen. It's going to be that much tougher because you're taking the ones that had proven that they can get it done and win the champions, coming back now to try to see if they can accomplish the same thing over and become the first two-time champion in the Truck Series. It's going to just add a little bit more difficulty level to making it into the playoffs. As we stated, this is a playoff system format. So what's going to happen here is it's going to go down from being, I believe next week will be the Daytona Road Course. There is a total of, let me see here, 11 points-paying races in the regular season to get it knocked down to a elimination-style format. So it's going to go from, I believe, 11 races, the entire field going knocked down to, I believe, 14, 14 drivers to make it in. Then we will have a 4-race shootout to knock the 14 down to, I believe, 5. So from 14 down to 5 in 4 races to kind of set things up. Qualifying just has wrapped up. Do you want to go about doing the running order since you've got it pulled up on your screen there, Rish?
Absolutely. Well, like you mentioned, you just take a look at this top 10 really on this field, and you'll see a lot of names that those who watch the Cup Series that we run on Wednesday nights are familiar with. Tyler Fody up there on the front row alongside Dustin Dewar, Ethan Burrell, your defending series champion, lining up third. And then you've got the Crump brothers, Wesley and Scott, lining up fourth and fifth out of Tate Lytle, Joshua Personette, Trey Eidson, John Cutlip, and Daniel Martinez making up that top 10. And then Leighton Norgard, new name to me. Not sure if he's a new name to the Truck Series, followed by Chad Frankenfield there on that 6th row. After that, as we go to the next page of our starting grid, we'll see behind there Latham Joyner, Robert Hill Jr., another one of our ERN Elite Racing Network buddies, so we'll keep an eye out on his race tonight, alongside Harrison Talon, Caleb Thompson. Then you've got Jeff Green and Michael Hossack. Jeff Green definitely going to be one of those guys to keep an eye out for, see how he moves forward. Typically one of our stronger super speedway racers as well. As we flip forward, actually seem to be having some troubles here with the grid, folks, so just give us a second while we get some of the overlay started. It's a new year, and so of course not only are we up here in the booth rusty, but looks like the technology's taking a little bit of time to get rolling as well. All right, well, we'll follow up the rest of that starting grid with you folks once cars get rolling. We mentioned it ended, or at least last of the cars that we talked about there was Jeff Green. Got 42 cars taking the green flag here today. So, 41 cars taking the green flag here today. So a lot to keep track of over the course of the events of this race. We're going to move up and down through this field all throughout, so we'll hopefully get a chance to mention everybody's names.
Absolutely. Well, this is a new year, new series sponsor, Stay Tuned Sports, joining us this year to go about bringing us these beautiful trucks here. And no better place, as I stated, as Daytona, as they are going to be coming around. This will be a 100-lap race. There will be 2 stages. There will be 2 ending stages. Both are 20 laps in. So on lap 20 and on lap 40, there will be stage ends for points to be awarded. So as crazy as it sounds, there's points to be made here. As much as you want that win, to get an early start on trying to get some points added up towards your column, with how tough of a field this season will bring. That's going to be very, very important for these drivers to try to see if they can lock down some in the first race of the season here. They will be coming around the back straightaway here to take the green this time by. And we will have 100 laps to decide who will be crowned a champion in the Truck Series at Daytona. We'll have a Daytona champion here, and to start off the Daytona Speed Week strong. As we stated, Ethan Burrell, our last year's champion, starting off here, going to be in 3rd. Tyler Fody right in front of him. Pace car will be off. It's a new season. The nerves are up. We're going to go green here where the racing gets good and the good gets racing. It's the start of a season, folks. Let's get her going good. As right now, Fody gets out to a little bit of a lead. It looks like he has right behind him, I believe that's the 90 truck of Crump right behind him. They seem to have been able to get out to a little bit of a lead here. Crump going to jump to the outside right in front of Dustin Dewar there. And he's going to get a push to see if he can be able to get back around in front of Fody to start off this first lap. Side by side all the way back, it looks like. There's going to be 2 tails here. There's going to be drivers going out early to try to see if they can put a name for themselves as a front runner, and then you'll find those others dropping to the back to play the long game to try to see if they can be around at the end where it matters. Coming around for the first lap here, it will be Scott Crump leading the first lap of the Elite season.
Yeah, Tyler Fody actually was the guy who put his car up on pole, but ended up taking the start all the way back in 33rd here. So there's that 40 car. Interestingly enough, not too sure if there was a penalty or something awarded to him, but he didn't end up going all the way to the back either. So a little bit of an interesting situation as we already see some shuffling going on this back straightaway.
Yeah, you'll usually see that earlier on Daytona. The drivers will drop back to the pack, but you usually want to get back, but by the time you get to the turn, that driver there further back didn't quite make it, so now he's got to worry about trying to hold on to the draft. But a lot of craziness already starting up at front. It looks like this time around it will be Ethan Burrell to come back around to lead the second lap. Whoa, very close there, Dustin Durr. It barely had time to hear clear before he went ahead and got in front of Scott Crump there. But now it looks like Ethan Burrell, Dustin Durr on the bottom side. Crump not satisfied with staying behind, already jumping to the high side. It looks like Dustin Durr there trying to see if he can go in front of him. 3 wide already down the back straightaway. As it looks like Crump will have the push behind him. I believe that's by the 16. That's his brother there, Wesley Crump there. They will be out front. So it's brothers 1, 2. And 3 wide still to go. It looks like Tate Lytle left out to dry on the very high lane. So he will fall back, hoping to find an area. Wow. Caution. Oh, okay, I was wondering what was happening. Caution already out. I thought the people were going down pit road, it looked like it. Caution out on lap 3.
Take a look here at the Mark Rebel S replay. That's before the race started, so it might have actually been Tyler Fody. If we take a look here at the slow motion replay, a little bit of a checkup, and Fody, as that 14 car goes down, gets up and gets hit by the 81 there. So let's take a look and see who all was involved in that. I think that was Casey Hatch in the 14. It was, and Alexander Gray then. So Fody kind of getting caught a little bit in the middle of that sandwich.
Now, that really makes you wonder why he had to go to the back if he chose it, or if there was some kind of maybe like sponsorship issues. There's a few reasons why you would get put to the back, but yeah, check up there. Fody gets tagged. Our pole sitter,
Rasmus too.
Yeah, Rasmus already. Oh, I believe that's the 2 truck as well, or is that the 12? It might be the 2.
What was the 2? Don't see a name associated with it.
That might be a 2 on the door, but not a 2 on the actual vehicle or on the iRacing platform. So it might not be an actual 2 for as far as what we have listed. But as far as what he has on the car, it's a 2.
It's the Cody McCorkle, who in time and scoring is shown as 39. That's another one of those things that doesn't always get updated immediately as we're moving from season to season. New numbers get assigned, and sometimes it takes a little while for us to get all fully caught up on that. So we'll make sure that's all better moving forward. But for now, we'll keep an eye out there. Number 2, Cody McCorkle was one of those guys who got caught up by that spinning 40 car of Tyler Fody. And Fody should be sitting on pit road. He's at least rolling down there. It looks like he should be coming to his box, though, just now.
Yeah, unfortunate for Fody to go from qualifying on pole to finding yourself in the back and being wrecked on lap 3. That's not the way you want to start off a season. He is a previous champion. So regardless of what happens here today, I feel like we will definitely be talking about him and races to come, regardless of his outcome. And he still has a relatively solid chance of still making it into the playoffs here in about 11 races. But yeah, that's unfortunate for Fody. Luckily, we didn't have too much of a stack up there with cars getting wrecked, but those few that did get some damages here at Daytona will find it fairly difficult in these trucks with that much of a drop in aerodynamics. So right now, it looks like the Crump brothers are out front leading. They'll be lined up side by side when they come to take the start once again. In 20 laps, will be awarded a stage. The top 10 will be awarded points from 10th to 1st and 1 point to 10th, and then periodically down 9, 10, 8 on for the top 10 there. And I believe the stage winner also gets a point to go to his championship when he gets into the playoffs. It will go towards awarding him a point for the playoff system as well. As they are lining up once again, it will be Ethan Burrell in 3rd and Dustin Dewar there in 4th.
Yeah, another thing that you get out of victory today is a little bit of reassurance headed towards that chase where you've got kind of that buffer. Obviously, the way we do things here in the Elite Racing Leagues, you can't just show up, win a race, and wait until the playoffs. But if you do maintain, a solid point standings, that win does count for you towards that chase. And so, again, you could start up the season with a win here and know pretty soundly that, hey, I just need to do okay for the rest of the season, and I'm in the chase, and I'm in the fight for the championship. And that could certainly be another thing of just kind of reassurance. It doesn't matter how bad things really get moving forward in this season. I still have a shot to fight for a championship later in 2023.
That is correct. Again, our series sponsors are up front essentially there. Stay tuned. Esports is on for the team of Scott Crump and Wesley Crump there. So stay tuned up front, leading in their own series right now. So very good showing so far in the beginning of this race. But yeah, as far as the start goes, fairly clean. Again, a little bit of contact further back with checkups. That's what happens when you get a field of this size. But we will be going back green here once again. Pace car will be coming off. As you see there. And then they'll come through the Geico restart line, indicated on the blue markers on the bottom of the racetrack. Green flag is back out. And good jump by the 90, as well as Ethan Burrell. Dustin Durr able to clear himself even down below. They'll leave Wesley come out to dry on the high side there. We'll see if he can get the run down the back straightaway. So far, he's getting a pretty good shot from behind from that, I believe that's a 79 vehicle. That's Trey Edelson, I believe, is right behind him. Yes, it is. Trey Edelson giving him a pretty good drafting help down the back straightaway. Almost evened up once again with his brother. So we're 2x2 all the way back until the 30s. Well, so far, Rish, again, they just had a caution. Maybe kind of settled the nerves a little bit, let you know, hey, what's kind of out there, how the truck handles in a very large pack, because you know what it is for relatively small packs, but as far as a large pack like this, there's nothing like actual being race experience. You kind of have a general idea. Maybe you know what it's going to take to get up front, and then maybe how long it should take for you to try to get up front. Do you think a lot of the drivers have kind of strategized what it takes and maybe calm down, or do you think it's going to amp up knowing that maybe it's a little harder to pass?
I hope it'll calm down, maybe just a little bit. And we'll probably see some ramping up towards the end of each of the stages. But yeah, I mean, I think I would assume a lot of these guys in the field, and I definitely know there's a good chunk of them have experience on these types of racetracks, have experience in these types of races where it's, hey, it's 100 laps. It's shorter than what we run in some other series, but it still takes some time to really tick through those laps, even in these cars. And you just got to be patient. You got to pick and choose your moments. And you'll also find probably guys starting to find their ways towards their teammates. So if you can start to line up, 1, 2, 3 cars that are all in the same Discord chat or race chat with each other, that becomes a huge advantage where you guys can communicate way quicker than you can with anybody else while you're just trying to make a move and trying to maybe talk a little bit after the fact there, as you already see car getting shuffled out of the way. Who is that? That looks like, is that John Cutlip? No, I think that's Joshua Personette. No, sorry. Getting mixed up with all these numbers. It's Elodin Norgard, I think. Yeah, getting shuffled up to the outside and going to lose a ton of spots up there.
Yeah, Leighton Norgard shoved up. He raced with us the start of the season for last year. Raced really well, trying to see if he can better his race experience now that he has the season underneath him. But yeah, already we're seeing a lot of shuffling and moving. I'm even seeing wreck behind, truck in the wall. Is it going to collect any more than the few that we've seen so far? Truck sideways down the back straightaway. I did see a couple more. I think I saw the number 7, unfortunately, for Ray Bracey, I believe, down there got involved the last minute with some other drivers. So, yeah, a few trucks involved, actually. I was just about to say I was seeing drivers forcing it 3 wide. A little bit of netco with Chad Frankenfield trying to get it tightly fit 3 wide early on. That's kind of not what you would want to see early on. The driver trying to make it 3 wide in the middle of the turn. Unfortunately, that took out Chad Frankenfield, a previous champion as well. It looks like the 6th there of Zach Evans. Unfortunately for Zach Evans, as he had a tough season last year, trying to improve this year, but already rough luck going on.
We'll watch here Casey Hatch. He gets involved in this as well. I think just maybe taps a bit of, the 6 car of Zach Evans. We saw Evans and Frankenfield come together. Michael Klein as well, another car involved in this. I think quite a few cars involved in this. Hard to get a full picture as Klein there. Oh, just gets hit by the 29 who was avoiding the crash. Klein, I
Yeah,
think,
just
will
a
avoid
little bit of
significant damage, though.
a hip check. What was that green truck? That's the one I thought was Ray Bracey, because he usually normally runs a completely green truck, but wasn't the case. It was a different truck, it looks like. I'm not sure who it was. Right there.
Ooh,
Because
that
he
green
gets
truck.
right into Chad. Chad slides right in
That
front of him.
Thompson? I think that's Caleb Thompson there, yep.
Oh, yeah, that's my driver. Oh no. Yeah, unfortunately, that's one of Aggressive Eagles drivers, Caleb Thompson. I'm fortunate. Didn't know he had a green truck for tonight. And don't you know, Caleb, green is unlucky, they say. And yeah, we're gonna have to get him switched up a different color for next week, because that's unfortunate for Caleb Thompson coming back from coming back to elite racing after a while of inactivity there. But unfortunately for him, but again, long season left to go, plenty of time to make up some points. But unfortunately, about 5 or 6 trucks caught up in that wreck there. But yeah, and we, just so you know, folks, we do read YouTube, all the chats. So if you have a driver you want to talk about, or if you're shouting out, I see a shout out for Mark Murphy. Someone said Zach Evans got Frankenfield. That's a term in elite racing for for what you just saw there. But yeah, unfortunate for a lot of those drivers for the Frankenfield incident. But yeah, that's how it goes sometimes. But yeah, if there's any drivers you want to shout out, we do read the YouTube chats. Don't hesitate to do a shout out for your favorite driver. We'll try to see if we can pull up. There's his beautiful mug of Zach
I was gonna
Evans.
say, I want to know in the chat, what do people feel? How do they feel about the faces of the drivers showing up? At least for some of them here, Zach Evans very kindly submitting his portrait to show right here in high definition.
I'm gonna have to submit mine for the Bub Pug. gotta do my picture. I gotta somehow figure out how to send that over to you guys. But yeah, we'll be coming around. This will be lap 13. They should be starting to double file them up once again. Again, that will lead us to having around 7 laps before the end of this. 4 points will be awarded. So it looks like it's still going to be the fairly same amount of drivers that we've seen. There are a few of them starting to work their way up. Trey Edelson there in the 41 up there. A driver that I believe I've never seen up there, the number 11, Jonathan Cutlip. He's up there now. And so far, the biggest driver move as far as positions gained, Personette and Brandon Zimmerman. So both of those drivers, we haven't mentioned their names so far, and Rex, and that's a plus, because we've had a little bit of a couple carnage moments for the beginning of this race, but luckily for those drivers, it looks like none of them have been involved as of yet. Right now, only 36 drivers on the lead lap. Looks like Jim Casterline has taken it behind the wall. Chad Frankenfield, Cody McCorkle, Jesse Rasmus, Zach Evans looks to be out of it as well. So unfortunate for a few of those drivers. Some of them may come out. I believe the ruling is if you go 6 or more laps down, you are not allowed back on the racetrack at super speedways. So just to keep the track a little bit clean of debris and a little bit slower drivers. Pace car is coming off. We're going to be going back green once again. The 11 got a really good jump on the 37 to give him a good shove. It may be the first 3 or 4 drivers going about clearing themselves of that outside lane. Even Personette there in the 3rd position at 18, the beautiful blue truck, able to clear himself. But it looks like a couple drivers already starting to peek out, trying to look away to get up to the high side and get that run down the back straightaway. Personette looking to jump up in front of them as well, to get that push as well, to try to see if he can get himself up to the lead. So Personette trying to lead his first laps of the night.
Yeah, not a great start at all from Eidson, and that really sets that outside lane back. Personette doing good to pick up the front end of that lane and maybe just take advantage there, get up front, and he's doing that now with a great push finally once they kind of got all together. But yeah, slow initial start there sets them behind, but could give an opportunity here for Personette to lead the way for a little while as we are approaching that stage break.
Well, what I'm starting to notice is that you can tell the drivers that want to go out and get some points, and you can tell the drivers that have decided they just saw 2 cautions with the first 10 laps, and they're okay with just kind of settling out to the back. So we're starting to see a little bit of unraveling towards the back of the pack, trying to distance themselves from potential carnage as we get 5 more laps until the end of this stage. So they know that it's about to amp up once the points are awarded, and we're about to see just how it's going to kind of pre-look for the race win. Maybe not as desperate, but definitely we'll see some drivers pushing it a little bit harder than what they do normally in a run. So we'll get a kind of like a little bit of an idea of what it looks like. As you see, Personette going a little high and almost got put 3 wide there by the 41. Looks like he will stay behind him down the back straightaway, as they are still side by side, fairly close to the lead here.
Yeah, good battling really going on all throughout the field here. Mostly you see guys 2 by 2, and obviously you'll see swapping then all throughout, and pretty much stays that way back to about, I want to say, maybe 25th, 26th before you start to see a little bit less organization. It starts to single file out. So right now, great job by these guys staying close together, starting to maybe see, is that Tate Lytle peeking just to the outside, seeing if he can get a run, try to get somebody to go up there with him. Currently, no one's there and no one's following him, and I think that 56 is going to start to fall back here pretty soon again.
Yeah, it's so tempting to jump to the outside when there's a checkup, because you'll gain a little bit of leverage on the outside, but with no one following you, you quickly lose that ability. But he's holding on fairly well. The checkups must be pretty bad right now for that outside. It looks like he finally does have some help this time around on the high side, as the racing's getting really intense. Last time by, the separation between 1 and 2 was 0.02 of a second. This time by, maybe a little bit bigger, but it is getting very close, as here they come. 18 laps down, 2 more to go before the end of this stage. As they come up on the lap traffic, that will spell the end of that 3rd lane, as they quickly realize they need to drop down to not run into the back of the much slower traffic.
It's all going to come down to who gets the best run at, really coming out of turn number 4 on that lap 20. And that's really what you're just slowly building up to right here, is you're at least trying to be nose to nose and side by side throughout these next couple of laps. It's going to maybe slow down the outside lane just a tad bit with that lap car up top, and you start to see them dropping back. I think Eidson needs to get right on the bumper there of Personette and try to push him forward. He's doing that now. But they need to be side by side over the course of this next lap or 2. And then off of 4 is really when guys are able to maybe fan out and start to make a decision. How about this, though? On that top side, teammates Jeff Green and Dustin Dewar.
Yeah, Do Good Motorsports starting to really get that outside lane working. Finally, teammates able to try to work together. Now there's more to the outside than there is in the middle lane. So that middle lane may end up being dropped back just a little bit. There's a little bit of contact starting to form right there, as it is getting really crazy. That contact ruined all the speed and that outside lane there. And wow, there's a truck on the bottom not able to hold it down. I believe that's the 83 there. Let's see. I believe that's
Daniel Martinez.
Daniel Martinez lost the nose of it. Came to the outside lane a little bit. So a lot of pushing and shoving. This is the last lap of the stage right now. Ethan Burrell, last season's champion, looking to try to start off strong with another stage win to his name. Getting a strong push from the 11th. That outside lane is going to have to really work well. But I don't know if it's got enough formation to really get the push that they need to be able to get the stage win. So coming out of turn 4, they'll come to the end of this stage. Oh, contact!
Ooh.
Driver into the infield. Here comes Personette at the line. Oh,
Burrell.
It's so close. Oh, wreck! Huge wreck. After the line, caution is out. Humongous wreck. 4, 5, 8 drivers, car on its side. Oh boy, we'll get to the finish of that, but unfortunately, it was kind of like one of those moments where after the finish line, everyone relaxed and they just shouldn't have, and that caused a massive wreck with a lot of really good drivers.
That was just Idson, I think, getting out of place there.
Yeah, pushing really hard on Personette to try to get him across the stage, and it got him out of shape into the wall. Dustin Dewar destroyed.
Lot of cars involved in that one.
Absolutely destroyed. Let's see if we can get a couple other shots to it. Oh boy.
Crump actually.
Jeff Green destroyed 69, gets up on his side. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the 69 gets up on his side there after making contact. Tyler Dixon involved. He gets fairly okay, not too bad.
Oh, he gets a hit from behind. Oh,
and then he's one that gets into the 69 there to turn him up on his side there.
Let's take a look here. Jeff Green. He was just kind of right there behind Dustin Dewar when it all kicked off, then gets the hit from Crump, and then, man, everybody behind kind of the lead 5 cars felt like they got a little bit of a lick in that one.
Yeah, Mark Murphy was in the 69 there. That got a pretty good hard lick there.
Yeah,
Breed is, let's see if we can go on board Robert Hill. He was further enough back that we can get a real good shot at just how crazy it maybe had gotten back there.
So Mark Murphy flip. Good thing he stays, though, on all 4 wheels. And then Robert Hill, you said. Let's take a look and see.
Go with the on-board shot there. Do we have that? Oh, this
here we go.
Oh, there we go. Perfect.
Cool.
Yeah, so he just
the wall. Oh! I think he missed the wall. Bravo, Robert Hill, man.
Oh, man. Oh, boy. So there's going down low, and then there's going down really low. And that he almost took the he almost went back to the Rolex infield there, and he almost decided to do the infield race because he went really, really low. So oh wow, Dustin Dewar crab rocking to the pits there. I think his day will be done. Unfortunate for him after having a fantastic qualifying. So carnage early on for our drivers. Only 20 laps in, 3 cautions, and a slew of drivers destroyed. Only 34 on the lead lap, and I feel like that's going to go down even farther once some of these drivers get stuck on pit road. But while we are under caution here for our stage break, we're going to give it over to Rish here in just a second. He's going to go over our sponsor readouts as these are what brings us these beautiful views and allows us, me and Rish, to be able to commentate for you folks and let you know everything going on the racetrack. So we do appreciate their support once again this season.
Absolutely, and we're going to start out with those premier sponsors that for this entire season you'll see they're rotating through at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, and that's starting with TA Services. For over 36 years, TA Services has been a trusted domestic and international full-service third-party logistics provider offering freight brokerage, managed transportation, warehousing and fulfillment, and cross-border logistics services to shippers around the globe. TA Services moves what matters to you. Let the TA Services team make ship happen for you. Also want to shout out Blue Egg Marketing. Blue Egg Marketing is the marketing department for small business owners. If you're a small business owner, the Blue Egg Marketing is your absolute biggest fan. Whatever your constraints are, they help catalyze creativity, and they will help your business punch above their weight class. Finally, want to shout out Worldwide Technology Raceway, new on board with us for 2023A. Though they've been a longtime supporter of the Elite Racing Leagues. Formerly Gateway International Raceway and Gateway Motorsports Park, Worldwide Technology Raceway is a motorsport racing facility in Madison, Illinois, just east of St. Louis, Missouri, close to the Gateway Arch. Features a 1.25 mile oval that hosts the NASCAR Cup Series, NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and of course the NTT IndyCar Series, as well as a 2-mile infield road course used by Speed Tour Trans Am, SCCA, and the Porsche Car Club of America. There's also Quarter Mile NHRA sanctioned drag strip that hosts annual NHRA Camping World Drag Racing Series Midwest Nationals events, and the Kartplex is an absolutely amazing state-of-the-art karting facilities. Shout out to Worldwide Technology Raceway, Blue Egg Marketing, and TA Services, all three on board with us as premier sponsors for 2023A.
And of course, thank you to Stay Tuned Sports. You can find them on ST Sports Podcast on Twitter. That's their Twitter tag there. Good group of guys over there. What they do, you can join Jimbo and King as they tackle NFL and hot topics in the sports world. They started up in 2016. Two friends, even though hating each other's team, for the purpose of producing sports shows like no other. Good group of guys. You can join their podcast. I believe they cover everything from NFL, NHL, NBA, or MLB. And I believe they do a podcast once a week. So join up on Twitter, see them, and you can be able to, at that point, be able to tune into some of their podcasts that they produce weekly. But we are back green here as a little bit mixed up of some drivers up front. Looks like Ethan Burrell, though, looking to get right back up front there. They have left that driver out to dry that had stayed out. Trying to see who that was.
I think it was Gibbs, Hibbs, Gavin Hibbs, in the 95 car is what I think it was. Right? Was it this DHL car? I think so.
Yeah, another one of the drivers that work with us in the league getting left out to drive. I really should memorize some paint schemes for my team. But, yeah, as far as Gibbs hanging out to dry a little bit there, gonna get back into line. Again, some of these drivers are pretty familiar with each other up front, but when a new driver like Gibbs gets in, it takes a little while for them to be willing to try to work with them. So you got to earn that respect, like in real life. When you get to a super speedway, they got to know that you can take the push, but until then, they're going to just try to find a way to get by you. And that's what you see as he went from the front row back to around 8th. A lot of switch-ups still happening. Even with all the wrecks, it doesn't look like it's calming down at all out there. Drivers are just really pushing it to find their way up front here. And there is only 14 laps to that credit of why the mere push to try to get up front is still so strong. While there is only 13 laps at this point now to try to get back up to gain more stage points. So again, a lot of these drivers looking at this race as an easy way to try to work themselves into the point standings. As Ethan Burrell still leading around with Personette right behind him. Not leading around. Sorry, I forgot. Cutlip was up front. Cutlip out front with Personette right behind Ethan Burrell there. So lined up with 3. Looks like we have a couple new drivers.
I was going to say another one of those new drivers that we kind of have up inside the top 5 right now, Avandro Dantas in that 07 car running on the outside. Second car in line there behind Wesley Crump. Seems to be doing pretty good right now, settling in, not really pressuring too much there on the bumper of Crump. We'll see if he's able to really provide the push that they need on this outside lane, at least at this point in the race. Because that outside lane's starting to just drop back ever so slightly from that inside.
Yeah, speaking of how do you say his first name? I'm sorry. Evandro,
I think. I could be wrong, though.
We're just going to go with Evandro. That works. Evandro, to his credit, came from 41st all the way up there. So good run for that 07 truck. After all the carnage we've seen, not a lick of damage and able to get his way up there. So to his credit, as we just stated, able to find a way to get past those 3 wrecks that have happened so far and has now found himself comfortably into the top 5. A lot of drivers that are kind of mixed up towards the front that we haven't seen. Just got Justin Wadsworth up there in the 79. Hozak is now up to the 9th. And Brandon Key up from 31st up to 10th. So a lot of drivers that were way farther in the pack are now finding it worthwhile to be up front. So a lot of pushing and shoving has gotten them up here, either through wrecks or abilities of being able to pass. But regardless, different mix of drivers that we saw from the beginning of the race.
Yeah, they need help though. Michael Hossack, Brandon Key need to kind of close back in on that gap, and they have through 3 and 4. But you saw just that maybe 1 or 2 car lengths of a gap between the 12 and the 24 just dropped them back a little bit, and it kind of had them suffering a little bit early on. But then everybody came back together, and now Wesley Crump kind of back to side by side. That's kind of the back and forth, the seesaw motion that you're going to get used to all night long. Is you're going to suddenly see this outside lane come into be the stronger lane, then suddenly it's going to be the bottom there, and that's going to flip back and forth. You just need to make sure, especially if you're leading these lines, that you're making the right moves in terms of which lane to block when deciding who has the best run there, as Gavin Hibbs goes way down the order as he tries to get back off the apron into turn 3. That's just an awkward position to be in.
Yeah, Hibbs got a little loose down there, dropped down to the bottom, and decided to cycle out to the back. He's got to hope that he doesn't get out of the draft. That was a car way off the pace on the bottom.
I have no idea who that was. McCorkle, yeah, McCorkle there, just letting everybody go by. But that looked close between him and the leaders coming off of 4, didn't it?
Yeah, it looked a little bit close. Maybe it was just the speed adding a little bit more drama to it. But, yeah, definitely the drivers off the pace. Again, once they go 6 laps down, they will be out of the race. So they're right now just trying to fight to gain the few positions they can before they are relegated out of the race due to being too many laps down. But again, there's a lot of shuffling. And we've seen it a few times already early on. A driver, I don't know if these trucks are just really hard to keep straight, but we're seeing drivers that normally don't have too much of an issue. Oh, Crump right on the back bumper in a bad spot. You don't want to bump. We've seen what's happened at the end of the stage when you get a bump during the trioval there. It usually causes a wreck, and Crump was right on the back of Ethan Burrell. Again, it looks like it's hard to keep the truck in line with the one in front of you, and just one wrong push in the wrong part of the rear bumper will cause an incident for sure. So I can see why these drivers are having so much issue just based off of just the amount of sway that these things have down the straights and into the turns.
Yeah, I don't know if you've had the chance to drive these trucks and kind of their current package. I know especially with the Cup cars, sometimes you hit just the wrong way, and that results in a massive wreck. Are these trucks a little bit more forgiving in terms of the bump drafting that goes on at a Daytona or Talladega, or are they just as finicky as sometimes those Cup cars can be?
So they have more, I guess you would say, wake in the air compared to a Cup car, just because they're a lot taller and they just pull more air behind them. So what that allows is the driver can really get a good draft behind them. But the issue is that they're not able to go nearly as fast, nor be able to go as quickly to be able to make that slingshot move really work. So you really need drivers to kind of help you out in that situation. But the draft can, if you're stuck behind them, there's enough drivers in front of you to really pull a wake. The initial pull you get is a lot stronger than, say, like in the Xfinity series. But again, it all comes down to who's going to have a clean truck at the end of this so far to even make use of any kind of aerodynamics, as we're already down from 40 trucks down to 29 before halfway. So, and already it looks like there's about 4 drivers almost half a lap down as it is to get it down to 25, maybe before the end of this stage. Still have 6 laps left to go here before the end of the second stage. Ethan Burrell won the first one, trying to see if he can go about doing a sweep here and get the second one.
Yeah, interesting to note that I looks like everybody pretty much passed Brent Jones down in 13th. Had to repair some form of damage to their car on this most recent pit stop when that last caution came out. And that is a ton of cars. So you're probably only talking about maybe 11 or 12 clean cars currently on this racetrack. And some of those might even have maybe a little bit of optional here and there that they just opted not to fix. So, yeah, absolutely keeping your bumpers clean is going to be keeping your bumpers on the car is going to be pretty crucial, though I think we've seen a couple of times before where you can get involved in the wreck, and somehow things work out right at the end there, where that car, no bump or anything on the front of that, is crossing the line and taking the checkered flag. So I certainly wouldn't count that out from happening.
Absolutely. Well, Ethan Burrell just has to be thankful that right now he's the last previous champion still out there. 3 other champions are already out of the race with Tate Lytle-Fody and Chad Frankenfield. So Ethan Burrell is really the only last previous champion to still be out there, our most recent one at that. But yeah, a little bit of carnage. And it hasn't just been from rookie drivers or drivers that don't have experience. I mean, it's been from Chad Frankenfield, Tyler Fody, a lot of those drivers that are champions, and it just kind of proves how difficult the conditions so far are out there with just how the drafting has been and the amount of difficulty to stay in your lane has been so far. But right now, it's been probably about the calmest we've seen it in this race so far, and we're saying that as 2 wide from first on back to pretty much 25th, as still 2 wide comes around. They will be coming around and 3 more laps to finish out the stage. I feel like the calmness will soon start to fizzle out as those points start to be awarded here, as they are coming up on a lap truck right now.
Yeah, as McCorkle gets out of the way there of all of these leaders. But yeah, I mean, everybody's still really, really close together, despite some of these cars maybe having a little bit of damage on them. But man, 38 with lap 40, end of lap 40 being the stage end. It's just a matter of time, I think, as for when these guys start to just maybe pick up the aggression a little bit. And we're seeing, of course, with that outside, Ethan Burrell right now leading the way there. He now has the option to stick with this outside, or if he sees that inside coming with the run, to block that. And that's always when potentially you can kickstart something else further down the field if there is a checkup. Looks like, though, that opportunity is going away here as John Cutlip's going to go for the pass on the inside of Ethan Burrell.
Yeah, here they come to take 2 more laps of the stage end here. And it's kind of just been side by side. It looks like the outside kind of... Ooh, you see a little bit of a wiggle from our leader there, with Personette giving him a little bit of bump, and that's going to allow the outside lane to surge once again. But back to what I was saying, it's just kind of been back and forth. The outside gets a little bit of a run, and then the inside gets a little bit better of a run. Again, side force is going to be a factor too, so when one driver gets out to a little bit, it can't really get too far up front because there's so much side draft still in these things that it pulls the outside right back up front with them. So again, here they come back around to take 1 more lap to finish out the stage end. As wow, looks like the 11's actually going to jump up to the outside there.
Yeah, so 11, I think, thinks that Burrell and Crump may get together to make a run, but all of a sudden that now puts him, Joshua Personette with a great opportunity here on the bottom to lead this inside lane and try to take this second stage win. And right now looks like he's already lined up pretty well with Leighton Norgard, and they just need maybe a little bit of help from Wadsworth down this back straightaway if they can just get together.
I'm wondering if he thought maybe it was the end of the stage that time and was just trying to help Ethan Burrell get a draft, but no, he's still staying to the outside. This is going to allow Personette to try to get a run here. Once again, Personette trying to get a stage win. Got second last time. Here they come to the line. It's going to be fairly close, actually. Maybe going to the 11 here. And yes, the Mellow Yellow truck will take over the stage win. So that will go over to Cutler there.
And all of a sudden, your mindset changes completely now, right, towards this race. You've just had kind of 2... Really, they're designed to be 20-lap sprints, but they were even shorter than that with all those cautions that were playing into effect. And now all of a sudden, it's now 60 laps to the end of this race. No scheduled points. We're going to have to make 1 more pit stop here in this race, potentially under green flag conditions if we're able to stay in that. And here's this lap traffic that these guys are now having to deal with. So a lot of factors start to play into this event now as look at all this chaos here coming off of 2. or excuse me, coming off of 4 as the leaders are trying to just navigate their way past this group of laps cars.
Yeah, and again, this season there is no stage caution, so there was a caution at the end of the last stage because there was a wreck. But there may be another wreck at the end of this stage. Is 3 wide. These lap traffic that they caught up. They caught 5 drivers. Oh, there is going to be a wreck.
Ooh.
There's a truck in the wall. Car sideways. Oh boy. Oh, more car. Yeah, this will cause a caution. Looks like the 14 involved, 33 involved. Yeah, as soon as they. Oh my gosh. They're still collecting up. The number 1 involved. Yeah, as soon as they caught up to that lap traffic, it caused a pile up, a stack up. And again, there was never meant to be a caution for the end of these stages, but
keeps working out that way.
Yeah, we got the natural cautions anyhow. Oh yeah.
Let's head back here and see if we can figure out what on earth started this whole incident. It was the 07, I think.
Oh man. After having a good run, finds himself having he's gonna get tallied for the wreck too. So unfortunate for him, as it looks like a couple other drivers. So it looks like Michael Halsack in the 24 got sandwiched there. Who is in that yellow?
That's Brandon Key here. That's on the screens right now. He's gonna. Oh man, just hit there the 14. That's who was in the 14? Was that Hatch? I think that was Casey Hatch.
Yeah, Casey Hatch. Yeah.
Man. 07, of course, Evandro Dantas, who we were just praising earlier.
Yeah. 03 got involved a little bit there. More pileups. Looks like Wesley Crump got a lot of front damage. He was a strong competitor there for most of the start of this race. The number 1 truck heavily involved in that. That's Jaden Rasmus. Yep. He's going to join, I believe it's his brother, with having a ton of damage on his truck.
Jess Story as well involved in that one, in the 29. A lot of cars, a lot of trucks involved in that, and 80 of Josh Smith as well. Harrison Talon, I think, is able to avoid it. Same with Robert Hill. So those guys were able to clear through there. But
once again, attrition is going to play a role. We're not even halfway, and that's going to knock the amount of drivers that are still going to be running out there further and further down. As again, it's all going to come in right around the middle of the pack, and each time it has been collecting a roofful amount of trucks as far as how many have been collected up in these. Unfortunately, that's going to collect up another 5 or 10 somewhere in there of drivers that are probably going to be out of the race.
Something happened here with this 05 of Robert Hill Jr. I don't know if he missed his pit box. I think that actually might be what it was, because his pit lane time is shown as about 15 seconds shorter than everybody else around him, and he's up some positions, definitely out of position. So I think that might just be a missed pit box there by Robert Hill. Joshua Personette should be your leader when we come back to the green.
Personette got the lead from just having that surge of speed and draft on the bottom side right before they caught the lap traffic. So that got him pulled in front of all the chaos. A good run by Personette. Had a tough season last year. Kind of went from being full-time to part-time just for the mere fact of how much chaos he was involved in. This year has been going a little bit better so far for him. As, again, it looks like we'll be coming back around. Still under 50 laps down, as we will still have half the race to go. And, again, we haven't seen a long enough run to really get a good idea if how these things kind of spread out. As far as we've just had cautions about every 10 laps. So they've been right on top of each other every time. But we'll have to see here if we have there is a chance for a green flag pit stop to be involved if we go green flag still. So we'll just have to keep an eye on. Green flag pit stops should be around like 35 if I had to guess. What you say, Rich? 35 laps is around that where you would normally see a pit stop for fuel.
That would be my guess. I always With having to just remember all the information from trucks, Xfinity, and Cups, I always mix all of them up in terms of overall length of the stint. But I would say, yeah, 35, 40 feels right to me. Um, so yeah, definitely green flag pit stop still on the cards.
Absolutely. Well, it looks like they're going to be lined up to, I believe, go green flag this time by. Person that decides to pick the outside once again. He's going to have someone he knows pretty well, Robert Hill Jr., right behind him. No, Robert Hill Jr. went down pit road, so I guess it will be the 79 there,
Wadworth.
Justin Wadworth, yeah. So another new face out there having a good run. We've seen the two tales of that so far, where new drivers have had good runs and unfortunately cut short. So we'll see if so far Wadsworth has been able to avoid it all. Has a fairly clean truck still underneath him. As the green flag is out once again, he does not have a good start, and Personet's going to look to try to see about clearing himself as soon as possible, and does so. Thank goodness, because if not, uh, that outside lane did not get going as well as it probably wanted to. But it looks like we already have a driver jumping to the outside. Is that the number 12 of Norgard? It is. And that purple-blue truck, very pretty truck out there, going to jump to the outside. No help as of yet for him, but here comes the 79 to get him strung along and get going. Gives him a massive jump.
Is that something that you find particularly hard here in the elite racing leagues, or just in general, is these restarts? Because that's 2 times now that we've seen guys who are new here that just have not timed the restart well at all and have fallen back massively because of it.
Well, when it comes down to it, it depends on if there's teammates, because with normally you wait until the green flag comes out to go if you don't have teammates. But if you have teammates usually will time it with each other to get on the gas at the same time, or relatively the same time. So if there's teammates, it will definitely show a very large gapping just because they were able to get going in a relatively quick manner. But on that situation there, I think it might have just been inexperience a little bit. Again, not a big deal too much, but unfortunately he goes from having a chance to being up front to now being relegated to the back of the top 10. So again, when you find yourself being able to be up front where it's relatively safe, to now being strung into the middle of the pack where we've seen that not being a safe place, that's just something that the experience kind of gets to help out with, because being in the safer spots is how you end up finishing these things. So again, that's it just is something you have to experience and learn from. So far, Personet running the bottom lane. So far, we've seen about 3 or 4 drivers that have just been up in the front, really doing a really good job of just trying to stay in front of all the chaos. And that has been Personet, Ethan Burrell, and Jonathan Cutlick there. Danny Martinez a little bit, but it's been normally those 3 trucks so far that have been up front scoring the majority of the points in stage points as well. So those drivers looking to try to just keep up the strategy of just trying to stay up front as new drivers come and go behind them. Coming around, finish out lap 49 and start lap 50. Believe now we only have 20 drivers on the lead lap, and a few of those drivers may be going a lap down here. So to go from 42 down to 20 in half the race so far, kind of gives you an idea of the attrition level. So that we've seen so far, and it is still not stopping with how hard these guys are pushing and how close they are. Again, we've just seen massive pileups being collected with these drivers, and we really have not seen really anyone not adept to trying to take it too wide or even 3 wide at times to get up to the front, as we still will have 50 laps left to go. Again, we still have a chance at a green flag pit stop if we go green here, so there's still some strategy to be played out if that's the case.
Yeah, just 17 cars in this lead pack, and that's gonna probably factor into how you maybe think about making moves, especially with the level of aggression. I mean, realistically, you go for an aggressive move. Worst case, you drop down to 17th. That's still something you can really recover from. Heck of a lot better than making a move and dropping down to 30th or 40th. So, um, could we see something maybe a little bit more playing out here? I mean, we really haven't seen these guys single file out at all race long. I don't know if we will at all throughout this race as we tick over the halfway point. Um, but just something to be mindful of, I think, is we could see these guys stay aggressive all the way through until pit stops, and that could either lead to a very interesting cycle on green flag pit stops, or not even give us an opportunity there for green flag pit stops because someone's gonna possibly get it wrong here.
Yeah, so far, like we said, a lot of good drivers having some good runs there. Some of those, Daniel Martinez for Fueled Up Racing, Person F Mountain racing there. And then it looks like Ethan Brell with Pro Edge. He's the owner of Pro Edge, so Pro Edge out there. And I believe Cutler Pepitine. We have a little bit of a. Next week we'll have a little bit easier time, or 2 weeks from now when we race at the Daytona Road Course, a little easier time to see the drivers who they will be running for, as we'll have them easily displayed. This week we're kind of working off a little shoot, but that's also a Fueled Up Racing. So Jonathan Cutler and Daniel Martinez are on the same team, so we'll have to notate that as we get further along. Right now they're side by side in different lanes, but if it gets closer to the end, we may see them work together there as we don't have Link Norgard's team, but we'll work on that. Neither do we have Corey Abbott. We really got to get Jeff Rankenfield to start working on this. Half the guys in here aren't actually on the scoring for us as far as being able to tell what team they run for.
Yeah, that's all part of the whole process of getting the things back up to speed, even though we really haven't been off for all that long. But we're going to keep using that excuse, at least for today.
But, yeah, a lot of good racing still to be had here. And again, now it comes down, are these drivers further in the back of this pack starting to play a little strategy? Maybe saving some fuel if they can. Up front, it's about full throttle. There's not much more you can really do, so there's no strategy. Just go straight as you can and go full throttle. But a little bit further back, there may be some drivers trying to save some fuel as they go around another lap truck here. So we may have some strategy play out before the end of this, as you see a really good run on the outside lane here. Looked like for a moment there, Ethan Burrell had cleared, but has decided to stay to the outside. And now the surge goes back to the inside as Burnett now gets back around here.
Yeah, haven't really seen, kind of since the end of that second stage, haven't seen anybody try or even look for that third lane to see if it exists. Right now, I think everybody pretty comfortable sitting in line right now and just kind of doing their thing. But again, just keeping an eye out potentially if somebody does go up, who goes up with them. I don't really see that many teammates close together on the racetrack, at least at this point in the race. And will you potentially see guys shuffle back, try to get with other teammates, or do you trust in the guys that you're racing around right now and have been doing so for the past 20 or so laps?
Well, if you're racing up at the front, if you get lined up with a teammate, you can. It's going to be the drivers in the back that may be able to have an easier time trying to being able to find their teammates involved and maybe lining up. If they're going to go for some kind of strategy, fuel strategy or otherwise, they're probably going to go back there and line up. But after having half the race eliminated, half the drivers eliminated, being able to even have a teammate will be hard to find. As more likely or not, the drivers that you entered the race with that you had thought you were going to work with may not be in the race any longer. So you might be out there trying to find a driver that you feel like you can work with or get to know, or maybe able to find and have a chat with to try to see if you can work with them. Again, when 50% of the field is gone, it changes up a lot of what you thought was going to play out towards the end of it, and who you may be having to try to race with towards the front at the end of this. So, again, a lot of craziness out there. It just comes down to again, where you find yourself at the end of these things sometimes. If you're able to survive it, you're racing against other survivors, I guess you would say.
Yeah, got to make most of of who's left on the racetrack, and it's definitely shrunk down. We have less than half of those guys who started the race on the lead lap currently. Actually, I think it's just about half right now, though. I think this next group of 3 cars is just a few moments away from going down a lap to our leaders. As there you saw them coming off turn 4, maybe about 5 or 6 seconds up the road, and probably getting bearing down on them pretty quickly is going to be our leaders.
Yeah, they are coming very, very quick on them. They're about 3 to 4 seconds faster a lap. So if it's not at the end of this lap, it will definitely be next. But I believe it will be this lap because I think Personette is going to start feeling the draft as they run the bottom. That inside lane will probably have a strong surge here where Personette and a few of the drivers will probably even clear the outside lane. But again, that depends on if the lap cars decide to stay on the bottom or if they drift up to the high side. So we'll see here in just a short bit, as it looks like it will probably be next time by when they start to catch them. You would hope that it wouldn't be in a turn, but a tri-oval is just as bad. As here they come up on the lap trucks. As I stated, it looks like the inside lane got a fairly decent run, able to clear the outside a little bit as well. But overall, yeah, it broke up the inside. That was not what I was expecting. I thought the outside would break up a little bit. As you see, these drivers are having a hard time going 3 wide. Oh, this is what happened last time. A lot of zigzagging, and there was a wreck. Well, I hope there's not one this time, as drivers are still trying to find their way through these lap trucks and trying to integrate them into their own speed. As it has broken up the back pretty bad as people are checking up, expecting the worst. Personette now finds himself leading the pack by himself up there. Looks like for the most part, though, it looks like the lap trucks have been cleared and have been sorted out for the most part. That will now put 17 trucks in this league group. Well, while we're speaking of the 17 trucks, let's go ahead and just announce those drivers that are the lucky few to still be on the lap, as they are all within, get this, 2 seconds of the lead. That's how close everything is. From 1st to 17th is within 2 seconds of the lead. Joshua Personette up front, Ethan Burrell second, Daniel Martinez up there in third, Jonathan Cutlip having a wonderful night. So is Leighton Norgard in the top 5. Corey Abbott finds himself up there. Harrison Talent having himself a really good run. Haven't spoken about him all night long. Damian Vega, new driver for us, up there as well in the number 8 truck, having himself a very decent night. It looks like Justin Wadsworth up there as well. We've spoken a few times of him. Gavin Hibbs there is up there. Joshua Freed still out there. Brandon Zimmerman, 2 Mountain Motorsports drivers, still rounding up there. Brent Jones still finds him. He's a survivor, so I would normally expect him to be able to find his way past all these wrecks. So Brent Jones up there is not a surprise. Robert Hill, after some craziness, still out there. Alexander Gray having a really good run in the 15th position, hoping to get him started off in the top 10. Andrew Hardcastle as well. And rounding out the top 17 that are still on the lead lap is Michael Hozak and the 24 that has been involved in a few wrecks, just hoping to stay on for the lead draft. Looks like they made the last 2 drivers there, Michael Hozak and Hardcastle, may have lost the lead lap group. So I go down to only a 15 truck lead lap group, as there will be mixed in between the lap traffic as well. But yeah, it looks like there will be about 15 drivers.
Oh, potentially some movement there, as I think, again, leaders just trying to get by another lapped car on the bottom of the racetrack, another couple of lapped cars on the bottom of the racetrack, and there's always just that moment of of just fear as you suddenly see a car duck out of its lane. But once again, looks like they do a good job at communicating with one another, and everybody, for the most part, looks like they're cleanly through past those lapped cars and now running lap 63, about 20 laps into this run. So potentially still have 10 to 15 more in this run before we get green flag pit stops, if we, of course, do stay green. But guys right now seem to be pretty well behaved, and that's good to see, especially through all that lap traffic. Things starting to look pretty good in terms of just the racing that we're seeing here.
And we will also see if there is green flag pit stops. That's where you will see the experience really come out for drivers like Ethan Burrell and some of the. Ooh, you see the 11 get loose on the bottom down there for some reason. I was saying, that's where you'll see the experience really shine from some of these drivers that have been doing some elite racing for a while, as they will have a lot more confidence with these green flag pit stops than maybe some other. And that is where you can really either lose out on a chance of winning this race, or narrow it yourself down to being one of the few to find yourself in the final lead pack, because it will spread out between drivers that have a good pit stop and a bad one. So not having any mistakes on pit road sometimes is even scarier than trying to avoid the wreck, as it is a 1 second is on pit road mistake could cost you a chance at winning the race. As here we come to lap 66, so we are quickly starting to whittle these laps down now that we've been having some green flag runs. As again, it's been Personette and Ethan Burrell out front for since the beginning of this race, out front for the majority of it.
Yeah, not really a ton of shuffling at the front here. Guys, at this point in the race, again, it kind of feels like we're at a riding point in the race, just a double file versus, single file. But for the most part, nobody really wants to make a move. Nobody's really trying to make a move. I think everybody's looking to try and hit a fuel number at this point and make sure they get that before I think we'll see action kick up after pit stops.
And it will, because a win is pretty much not a guarantee, but a pretty much guarantee for making the chase. So for some drivers that know that maybe Talladega's or Daytona Talladega are kind of their shots at getting themselves in, they really are going to try to see if they can get this here. As we see, looks like the outside lane again. 37 clears himself of that inside lane, but still chooses to have the outside lane there. Oh, 38 or the 83 right on the back bumper. Again, they are still pushing fairly hard up front. Well, if you were wondering, in 2 weeks from now, we will be back here once again. We haven't had enough Daytona road course here will be on the 5th of February, which again will be a Sunday night if you want to join us in the Stay Tuned Sports Truck Series here. We will be back here to do the road course version. So go from Super Speedway to the road course, changing up quite a bit out on the racetrack from what we normally do, but we will be doing the Daytona road course on then we will be going to the old Atlanta. Oh, wrecking! Personette upside down! Huge wreck! 4, 5, 8, 9 trucks involved! Oh my gosh, there goes the majority of the top 10. I did not see exactly what happened. I just saw Personette get turned into the outside wall and flip upside down with it. Oh, he has blown his engine too. That is so depressing for the Mountain Man sports team. There's Personette was having a incredible run leading this race for the majority of it, and it looks like his night will be done as he has a blown engine. Unfortunate. Let's see what happened here.
Oh, it's the 83. Daniel Martinez.
It happened a couple times. I kind of winced when it happened a couple times when Daniel Martinez was getting really close to the 37's back bumper. Again, one bump is all it takes in the turns, and he was getting closer and closer, trying to get him clear. And unfortunately, it hooks Ethan Burrell, our our last champion that was in the field, straight into, unfortunately, Personette, and it looks like it's collected about maybe 2 or 3 other trucks as well.
Yeah, I
That
think
is,
Wadworth, Personette were both involved in that. Ethan Burrell, Daniel Martinez, of course. I think those were the 4 main protagonists in that one, and that's brutal to watch there for all of those guys. All of them competitive, too. They were all running right up at the front of the pack.
yeah, we were stating that the front was where you want to be. It was probably the safest place, but that it was not the case. And again, all it takes is just a little bit of a bump. And I saw it getting closer, and the pushings was still there. And I was wondering if they were going to be able to avoid it. And again, I don't know how much of Daniel Martinez was thinking that he was somewhat lined up with him. And again, these trucks are moving around, and I don't know how much the old tires affects how much the drivers move around on the racetrack. But I feel like they just again it just didn't take much. It didn't take much for it to happen. But yeah, that will once again change everything, as those were the drivers. The only there that was a front runner was Jonathan Cutlip there. He was about the only one from the front runners that survived that carnage up the front. And boy, we only had 17 on the lead lap. It's about to get even shorter. And unfortunately, also that's gonna assure up these drivers being able to make it on fuel now that they pitted. So there will be no green flag pit stops in this race. It's going to be decided on track, which will probably amp these drivers up even more as they see some of the strong competitors being taken out. It kind of makes everyone believe they're the next up to try to take it over.
Yeah,
but we'll have to see here.
You're not going to see a car coming off pit road here that isn't completely wrecked. I don't know if you'll see a car in this field that isn't wrecked here. Corey Abbott leads the way. That car looks relatively pristine. Not bad, Corey. John Cutlips, same with him, I think.
Out. Did Corey Abbott stay out, or did he just take fuel?
Corey Abbott, I think, just took fuel. 12.6 second pit stop versus about a 15 second for Cutlip. So I'd assume is that fuel only, you think?
Yeah, that's fuel only.
That's interesting.
So fuel only for him. Again, we don't know how much tires are playing a factor into this as they start to line them back up. We'll see here shortly once everything gets kind of played out how many drivers will be on the lead lap, how many drivers are still staying out there. I know Ethan Burrell is completely off the racetrack. So is there's no way the Personette's still out there.
Personette is rolling.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
And on the lead lap.
Oh boy. He's
not
going to be very
something.
Yeah, I don't think that reminded me like when Dale Earnhardt Sr. kind of flipped it and kept it going and everything. But that truck took a hard. How is that thing still going? He took such a hard hit and flipped it.
I was going to say, he was up on 2, wasn't he? He was
No, he went on his roof. He went on his roof and completely barrel rolled it, and is still going.
That is
well, yeah, that's a well-built truck right there. Wow.
We'll see how long it lasts. Of course, that racing speed, if it can even hit racing speed.
That might be his top speed right there. He might be topping out right now.
There's a chance.
there is a chance that is topping out speed right there. But yeah, it looks like the pace truck will be off once again. We will be going back green up front now. Corey Abbott out front for these drivers. 16 drivers still in the lead lap. A few of them took the wave round, it looks like. We will probably see a few drivers drop off the lead lap here before too long as well with the amount of damage. But right now, 15 drivers narrowed down with a little less than 30 laps left to go. Personette
I do think that's as fast as he can go.
Yeah, I think that was.
We're green. He hasn't really sped up.
Yeah, my Mazda went around here faster than that thing. So that's That's not very fast. Yeah, he's ready for the enduro race or something. But yeah,
Yeah.
here they go back up green. New cast of characters up front. Corey Abbott up there. You see Gavin Hibbs up there now, right behind. We stated that people didn't want to work with him. Well, they're not going to have a choice when there's no other trucks out there. He's going to have to be seen. He has survived it in that yellow truck. And he's up there now racing for the lead with Corey Abbott, a few other drivers out there still. Jonathan Cutler, about the only driver that we've seen consistently up front. Brandon Zimmerman, Damian Vega up there. Brent Jones, I told you he's a survivor, man. Brent Jones is a survivor. Up to 6th place right now. Leighton Norgard, Michael Hozak, Alexander Gray in 9th. He's having a great run. Andrew Hardcastle, Harrison Talon, Robert Hill. I mean, none of these drivers here, I believe, has won a truck race. I don't know if any of the drivers in the top
Brent Jones?
team. No, I don't believe he's won a truck race. I don't believe he's won a truck race. I don't think any of our top 10 have won a truck race before.
Man, we could be in for something. I think, yeah, the first truck winner would be Joyner in 12th.
Yeah, no, I don't think anyone in the top 10 has won. So there's a great chance of a new winner here tonight, as there's no more champions. They're all knocked out of the race. They are all gone. So the champions are not having any luck. But yeah, this is. Oh wow! They caught that lap. That was our Mazda out there, Personette, almost getting run over at about 100 miles per hour off the pace. Yeah, wow, that was a little scary.
Personette right now topping out at 138.
That was
Field's topping out 182.
Wow, that's crazy. That was how fast the Mazda was going. But yeah, that's he will not be staying out too much longer, I don't believe, as that truck, it is still impressive that it's still going to this point, but yeah.
I think they're going to have to call him in at some point, I'd imagine, no?
Once you get 6 laps down, that's the thing. Once you get 6 laps down, you're called off the track, if you want to or not. But right now, there's 14 trucks on the lead, or on the main pack here. 13 are still in the main run. So yeah, the only driver I think is probably Lethem Joyner that's won a truck race. I think is the only one.
I was even checking. Has Joyner won a truck race, or was it an Xfinity? I'm actually starting to doubt myself now as I'm flipping back through some of the history.
That's a little hard to say, to be honest with you. But yeah, I mean, this definitely.
Then I think it'd be Talon, no?
I believe he has one. I believe he has one in the truck series, because I remember he won last year. So yeah, there's only one driver in this lead pack in the top 13. There's only 13 drivers in this lead pack that has had a win in the truck series. It is open to everybody else to try to get their first win in the Elite Truck Series to start off the season, and to practically lock themselves in to the chase. So a lot of craziness still to be had yet as we come to 25 laps to go. And that just adds a little bit more excitement to this, as you know that all the nerves on all those drivers that have not won yet are going to be very high, as there's two things on their mind: locking themselves into the chase and getting them a Daytona victory.
Yeah, it's going to be critical here. And now it's obviously going to be as well, can you avoid the next wreck, if there is going to be in the next wreck? We've had quite a few big ones. We've lost more than half the field here, just 14 cars left on the lead lap, and just 13 of those in this lead pack. If something else does happen, man, I don't know. Like, how do you avoid that? It's just, oh man, that's going to be the trickiest part, I think, of this race.
They're still right on top of each other. And again, there is some inexperience out there. I doubt that we've seen the last wreck. You see a lot of pushing, still getting these trucks. these trucks are just so hard to, I guess, take a push. As you see the Mazda getting passed once again on the outside there. That flash is kind of like Ricky Bobby. What were those vehicles? What were those out there? Kind of a situation as Percent is being passed at about 100 miles per hour slower speed than these guys. But yeah, there's still some inexperience from some of these drivers, I do believe. And with how hard these cars are to take a push and to stay straight, it is almost guaranteed that we will see something before the end of this to maybe knock it down even further. But right now, like I said, there's so much excitement on the track because not only are we going to get a Daytona champion here, but we're going to get possibly here a new victor too to start off the season and take one more position away from those drivers that feel themselves confident in locking themselves in the regular season. So it's just going to add more and more excitement as the season goes along. And what a better way to do it than to start off with a victory. Well, right now, Corey Abbott's been getting really good pushes by Gavin. He's been really good about getting that bottom lane kind of push. The outside lane just hasn't had. I think that 8 truck has damage, and it's really hard for him to get to the back of to the back. I believe that is that Brent Jones? No, Brent Jones is in the 49. So if you see Brent Jones 89, he's actually 49. Just our monitors are a little wrong. He's in that black 49 down there on the bottom lane behind Gavin. So that is Brent Jones out there, the man of the hour. Usually he's a survivor. As you see Gavin able to jump to the high side, trying to see if he can go about leading this lap.
Ooh.
He will. Oh, he got pushed hard and almost lost it in the triangle. Great save by Gavin. Wow. We've seen that cause wrecks and not be able to correct it. Oh, there's the 8. Oh my gosh, what's going on? There, netcode or something? He disappeared and then showed up in another truck, and that scared the living heck out of everybody. If you go back, because I don't know how to describe that. It's he literally disappeared and showed back up in a competitor. And then everyone was flipping out what to do in that situation. Yeah, that was a little crazy. He was already having a difficult time keeping up with the draft with his damage, but now he's having probably a little bit of connection issues here. So he finds himself further back at the pack here.
Take a look here and see what happened to Vega. That 8 car, and yeah, just that disappearing.
He disappears, and then so drivers are like, okay, he's out, he's gone, and then he shows up inside of a driver, and people didn't know what to do there. That was wow, that's a little scary. That's something real life drivers don't have to worry about. So, well, that's strung everything a little bit out and has allowed the inside lane to get a little bit of distance from the outside lane. But it looks like the outside lane is going to slowly start to gain momentum back to try to get back up to the front. But here comes the 12, maybe. Ooh, he's got to make a decision.
The 5's around. Robert Hill.
Robert Hill, is he going to be able to keep off the wall once again? He does. He really needs to stop trying to take the Daytona road course. That is in 2 weeks from now. This is the second time he's had to go down there. So Robert Hill just needs to stay on to the circle track if he can. Let's see what happened here. The 12 was undecisive there and kind of took the middle lane. He got a bump.
I think also just a bad bump there on the 05 by the 81, maybe? Oh, no. I think Hill just comes back down on Alex Gray.
Alex Gray was hooking around the yellow line in 05, kind of maybe paying attention out in front of him and went up a little high and then came back down. Alexander Gray was trying to see if he could peek for a 3 wide look there. So surprisingly, no one really taken out in that, which is great. It's going to allow one more driver to get back onto the lead lap. That will be the 07 there. I believe that's going to be
Dantas.
Yeah, Dantas. His last name is easier to say than the first name. So Dantas is going to be back onto the lead lap. So that will give us back to having 15 drivers onto the lead lap. And that will help a few drivers as they were about to lose the draft here. Joshua Freed was about to go a lap down, so that will help him. So yeah, that's going to set us up with probably around a 15 lap shootout here to the end of this. And I think that's going to still just going to amp up the intensity here.
Well, we've seen what that looks like here. It's just going to be like another one of those stages at the start of the race, and and those got pretty crazy. So so we could see that. Obviously, fewer cars to have that all happen with, but I think like you mentioned, all of these guys still new to victory lane here in the Truck Series, in the Elite Racing leagues in general, and I'm sure all of them are going to be equally hungry to get the job done here today.
Yeah, I mean, just imagine it. Like Alexander Gray, I don't think he had a top 5 last year, and he didn't make the points and everything. If he comes out with like a victory here, I mean, that's going to just set up a really craziness because again, that eliminates the spot from the chase essentially. And that's going to just kind of narrow it down. And again, I think it's just going to amp up to some of these drivers what they think they got to do for the regular season to get themselves in. So again, it's gonna be some of these drivers. This is a chance to make it or break it, as far as making it as hard as crazy as it to say the first race of 11 race regular season. That the first race may be a break it or make it for some of them. But where do you find yourself in a situation where practically no one else out there has won, including yourself? Yeah, where are you going to find yourself in that situation again? Because when we get to some of these other racetracks, there are going to be champions back racing for the chase again. So you're going to be going up against drivers that have not only won races but won championships as well. So again, it's going to just all going to amp up as things go along, and I'm all here for it. I know Rich here is taking over for my usual buddy there, Dave Huckberry. He will be back. I believe next week. Is he coming back, or in 2 weeks from now?
I think it's whenever the next race is, so 2 weeks from now, yeah.
Yeah, 2 weeks from now. So I do appreciate you joining me. We've been having a lot of excitement here tonight, haven't we, Rich?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the cool things about Daytona and Talladega is it literally is anybody who starts that race can end up in victory lane. There's no you know, and I think some people love that, some people hate it, right? It's the unpredictability of it. For some of these guys, it's a rare opportunity to you know, start your season with a win. And for some of the guys, you know, maybe like the Tate Lytles or the Chad Frankenfields of the world, who they're strong at just about every other racetrack we go to, this is more of a wild card to them, where it's just kind of they're just trying to keep their nose out of trouble more than anything else, because they know that they have the pace, they have the ability to kind of pull something off at one of the shorter tracks. But for some of these other guys, you said they don't have the experience, they're not quite as familiar with the cars just yet. It's an amazing opportunity ahead of them here to nab a win, and nobody's ever going to be able to take that away from you.
Nah, Daytona win is a Daytona win. You take it. The start of the season again. It's probably the most prestigious race you can win in the season. But yeah, like I know a few drivers already commented on it, and I hope myself. We hope that this carnage kind of ends for Speedways here, because we got duels coming up later in the week, and then next week we'll have Xfinity racing, and then we'll have the Daytona 500 for the Elite Series. So I know the rest of us are kind of hoping that the carnage stays here in the Truck Series, as I'm one of those that are going to be racing in those series as well. So we'll see. I still don't think carnage is quite done yet, as again, there's so much on the line and so much inexperience and nerves that it's just it's too much going on to not have happen. But here comes the restart here. It looks like Hibbs is going to get a really good push from Brent Jones and Corey Abbott to the outside here. So yeah, just a different group of the guys than we normally see leading these races, having a really good run here. Finds themselves in a great position here for the end of this race. Looks like the 11 truck is going to jump back out to the outside, so looks like Cutlip is going to try to see if he can lead the surge back up to the front.
A little bit of shuffling back and forth as guys just settle into a rhythm. Good restart, I think, by both lanes this time around, right? And at least able to stay together as Abbott, though. Maybe a little bit of a checkup on the outside.
Oh, man, when it comes down to the end of this and people are pushing and shoving, and we've seen pushing and shoving not work at all so far in the trucks. So they just can't handle them. Man, it's going to get really intense very quickly here as drivers are going to put caution to the wind and just lay onto the back bumper of someone. And boy, I don't know where you would want to be in this race right now. What position is the safest spot or the best position to be in? Because boy, they're just with how tightly everyone's back piled up here. Again, the top 15 are within 1 second. There's no chance if the leaders wreck and they block the whole field. 1 second back is nearly enough time to stop. So I'd hate to see all 15 drivers get clobbered into a wreck. But if it happens at the front of this field, that might be exactly what we see here, as they are all right on top of each other, as they are 15 laps to go to finishing this out. Or no, less than that. 12? Is that 12 on your screen there? 12 laps to go?
Yeah, it should be. I think it's 13. Some reason it's glitching out there, but 13 is the number of laps left in this race.
Yeah, sorry, the number thing there is starting to overlay with something else. 13 laps to go for the end of this. Again, it is amping up, and right now, there's a little bit more pushing and checking up on the outside. Oh wow, there's a driver going down lane. Yeah, I believe he jumped the restart is what they're calling.
Wow.
So he will have to serve a drive-through, I believe it is.
Also looked like speeding on pit road. He did not look like he got slowed down in time, did he?
It's going to be hard to say. You really hope not, because the speeding penalty, I think, is 40-second hold. So, yeah, you got to really hope he didn't get that. Or right now, his race is not over just because of the mere fact that there may be a wreck and a caution. And there was a wreck with no caution. It looked like Michael Husak into the wall. A truck going through the grass. Back up on the racetrack. Contact hard. Oh, they're still wrecking.
They're still moving forward and no caution yet.
They may call that on the 07 for avoidable contact. He might be out of the race here because I believe he already had one tally against him. He may get another tally there. So I think he decided to stay forward and get back up on the racetrack. Unfortunate Michael Husak involved. It looks like, there's a few other drivers involved there. As, there was contact right when I said so. It didn't cause a caution as much as it looked like it could, but that has once again dropped the number of drivers running in this front pack down to a lot less. I believe there's only 10 drivers in this front pack here right now. 11 laps to go, coming to 10 laps, and I still think that Gavin has a chance to win this just for the mere fact that I don't think we're done wrecking. I still don't think we're done wrecking. These trucks are so out of control. They just have no weight to the back end, it looks like. So when they take a push, they are just being sent flying. So, we'll see. Again, a lot of these drivers have lost the draft, and their only hope is for a caution. As, if Corey Abbott keeps going that high up, someone's bound to take the middle. And force him 3 wide. Right now he is in the front, but has chosen to take the outside lane every lap. And that 12 is right on his back bumper.
10 to go, and this looks like a wreck waiting to happen, doesn't it? This entire group of cars. I don't know if that's just a net code of just guys shuffling around, or if there's really just this much. It feels like there's a ton of anxious energy throughout this field right now.
So with Gavin, they just announced it wasn't even an elite official. calling him to go down pit road. It was an iRacing due to the new restart lines giving him a black flag. So it was iRacing that it gave him the pass-through penalty for him. He now finds himself 20 seconds behind the lead. Here, if there is no caution, he will probably go a lap down before the end of this. But man, they're so close. I don't know how we don't get another caution because they are pushing so hard to try to get that outside lane clear. There's only a few trucks on the bottom down there, but boy, it's getting tight up there. 8 laps to go. It's still been Cutlip on the bottom. Corey Abbott's been coming and going with the help of the 12 there with Morgard. But looks like the inside lane has once again a little bit of a surge. Oh wow! The 11. I didn't know what was going on there.
Yeah.
He decided to take the outside lane in front of Corey Abbott. I don't know why, but oh boy, I think Corey does not want to be behind him. So he goes up high. Wow, that lap car did not stay below the yellow line. As Corey Abbott once again gets to the outside of the 11, does not want him in front of him on the wall, but still wants to lead the outside lane with the 12 behind him. As here we come to 7 laps left to go.
It's really just a matter of numbers now. More on the outside, lined up nose to tail, but each time they get close to one another, it almost looks like they're getting ready to wreck here. And so it can be both a good thing and a bad thing having all these guys close together. But all of a sudden, I think Harrison Talon even dropped off ever so slightly. And Damian Vega continues to just struggle, I think, to close that gap and really stay tight on this bottom lane as Cutlip once again goes to the top, but Corey Abbott says, no, sir, you're not getting in front of my front bumper.
Yeah, absolutely not. Yeah, the top 11 drivers are within half a second of the lead. It will, if there is no caution, it will be one of these 11 drivers. Cutlip up front, Corey Abbott, Brent Jones, Leighton Norgard, Brandon Zimmerman, Andrew Hardcastle, Harrison Talon, Damian Vega, Lethem Joyner, Robert Hill Jr., and Alexander Gray. If there is no caution, it will be one of these drivers. Only one of them has a win in the Truck Series before. If it's not the 03, it will be a new winner today. As wow, the 12. Oh, there's the wreck. There is a wreck. 12 dropped off real bad. 3 trucks involved. The 03, the 51 Harrison Talon there. Oh, back in front of. Oh, the 03 got a lot more front end damage from that. As the 51 was unable to keep going straight, came right back in front of the 03, gave the 03 of Joyner there a lot more front end damage, and that will set up a green-white checker here.
It was Hardcastle, I think, who kind of kicked it all off. Maybe, maybe not. Let's see. Take a look. The incident's already happening right there, actually. Let's see if we can actually rewind it just a moment here. 51 and 22. Yeah, so it was Talon Hardcastle.
Well, the 12 checked up so much out of nowhere. He checked up like 3 truck lengths, like in a period of just like a second. Like almost like he like ran out of fuel almost, it looked like. So for some reason, 12 was just completely out of the gas. And that caused a checkup where everyone sees 5 laps to go and there's no lifting. No one's expecting someone to be completely out of the gas right there. And it caused a little mini pileup there. I don't think any of them are going to be out of the race. I think the 03 and the 51 are going to have some pretty hard damage to keep up with the draft. But what that does do is it allows drivers that kind of got pushed really far back there. Gavin was within like 4 seconds of being a lap down. So I don't know if he would have even, if it was 1 lap later, stayed on the lead lap. So Gavin will be back up there. Michael Huzak that got some damage is going to be back up there. Freed is back up there. So it's gonna allow some of those drivers back up there to set up a possibly not the last green white checker here.
Yeah, this will be.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say this will be interesting here. You know, potential quick finish to this with a 2-lap shootout. But I was going to ask, how many green-white checker attempts do we actually get for this one? I think typically we've been doing 3, but not
I
sure if you had
believe
that
it
number.
is. Yeah, I believe it is 3 still. So again, may not possibly be the last green white checkered we see here, as again the pushing and shoving has been getting pretty intense here, and yeah, I don't see that stopping anytime soon here. But we do appreciate everyone joining us here to watch the finale here of the Daytona race here in the Truck Series. You can join us again 2 weeks from now at Sunday, same time, around 9 o'clock. You can join us watching here on YouTube and be able to watch the series second race, which will be the Daytona Road Course. So drivers will have to get a hotel room here for 2 weeks, stay down here, and get ready to go back at it on the racetrack. But this time around, they will be going through the infield. So we do appreciate everyone watching. Hopefully you'll join us again. Thank you to our new series sponsor, Stay Tuned Sports, and their podcast. So if you want to join them as well, tune into a podcast that talks about NFL and every hot topic in any type of sport, you can join them on Twitter at ST Sports Podcast. And you can find the link to see their podcasts that they have and be able to join them as well. So we will be lining them back again here. It looks like we will have, I believe, a natural green-white checker. So not even one of our allowed green-white checkers. It will probably be a natural green-white checkered here, as again the drivers are going to try to see how they can get it done, as Brent Jones now finds himself leading the outside lane. So I told you to watch out for Brent Jones. You will notate that, right, Rish?
Oh, absolutely. I would love to see a good result here for the 49 car on screen. And yeah, lining up on the outside here, leading that outside row. He's certainly got an opportunity. He's got he's got Zimmerman behind him, I suppose. Which I guess I don't know much about Brandon Zimmerman. I don't know if Brent Jones has been comfortable with him behind, but I mean, you got to be comfortable with whoever's pushing you at this point in the race, and hang on for dear life if you're not. So that'll be interesting to see. I do feel like there's a lot of strength though on the bottom. Of course, Cutlip and Abbott have kind of been the two guys who have been fighting it out over the past 10 or so laps before this most recent caution. So yeah, time will tell, but this should be an interesting restart.
Absolutely, yeah. Zimmerman there is a Mountain Man racing team member there, but we will be going back to a green-white checker here. Pace car will be coming back off. The 11 number yellow truck there on the bottom will be leading us to green. He will be in the green, blue Geico restart lane now. Green flag is back out. Looks like the inside lane is locked up pretty well together, but looks like Brent Jones is able to get a little bit of a speed there going there with Zimmerman right behind him, giving him a shove. As here they go coming down the backstretch. Oh, two drivers taking the outside lane. Looked like a few drivers deciding they wanted to lead that outside lane there at one time. May have checked it up just a little bit.
That's not the car you want to see leading that outside either. That's Vega. That car we know has not been, too quick.
Oh, the 11 and the 21 were juking inside and out, trying to figure out which lane. Abbott does not want to be behind the 11. He has made that very, very clear here, as here they come back around to take the white flag. Right now, the 11 on the outside, the 21 of Corey Abbott on the bottom lane there. And it looks like here they will make it to the white flag, so they will be racing back to the checkered. It looks like the 11 there is able to clear himself. Is he going to take the inside or stay to the outside? Looks like he decides to stay to the outside there of Corey Abbott. So here they go. Is there going to be any carnage here? Is a good shot. Oh, there is. Brent Jones into the back of the 8, sends him up the racetrack. That's going to really break up the outside lane. So that's going to allow the 21 to only have to worry about the inside lane as of right now. It looks like the 05 of Hill there trying to figure out a way to get by him.
Josh
right now stuck behind. Hill right behind Corey Abbott. Here they come out of 4 for the first race of the season. Who will be the winner? Right now, Corey Abbott out front, Hill to the outside. Coming to the line, it will be Corey Abbott by inches over Hill at the line. Corey Abbott making a statement, did not want to be stuck behind anybody. wanted to be out front there at the end. Got a little bit of a damage for it too. But overall, starts off the season a winner for the driver there of the number 21 here at Daytona for the Stay Tuned Truck Series. And Corey Abbott will start off as a Daytona champion. We're going to go back and watch the finish there. Hill tried to get a good run, trying to time it to the outside lane. The outside lane had broken up so much that it was hard for anyone to really get to him to give him a shove. Maybe if it was just a little bit farther down the racetrack, the checkered flag line, that he might have got him. But right there at the end was just so close. And then you see the wrecking happening right behind.
Man, that was so close between Abbott and Hill, wasn't it? Across Josh Freed, out of nowhere there, came home with a P3.
The inside of the track there after the tribal. Yeah. Hill, once again, gets shoved down into the almost into the inside wall once again for the third time tonight. I think he really wanted to do the Daytona road course this week or something. Oh, no. Is he stuck? He's stuck. Oh. He might be stuck. Okay.
Oh, don't stop there, Corey. All right, he's good.
I think he's good, yeah. He'll be able to get his burnouts in. Well-deserved. Through all the carnage, able to come out the winner. We were able to complete it in just 100 laps, so a natural green-white checkered able to finish it off here. As we'll see if we can pull up the finishing results as well.
Let's see if we can grab those there. Take a look at the race results. Corey Abbott, Robert Hill, Josh Freed, your top three, will join us in the booth in just a moment. And John Cutlip, Michael Hossack rounding out that top five. Brent Jones, Norgard, Zimmerman, Hibbs, and Vega, that top 10 there. All right, Gerald, ready to bring in our race winner?
Yeah, let's go ahead and bring up our race winner here, as I'm sure he's plenty excited for starting off the season.
Stick with me.
There you go. You got us, Corey?
Oh, I got you, Gerald.
Oh, man, you were able to get out front. You were not willing to stay behind the 11 at any point, and it got really dicey there after that restart on this final time on the back straightaway of the ducking and diving and finding a lane to get yourself into a lead there. Able to pick the right lane, the inside lane after the outside lane started checking up, and then it was just worrying about the guys behind you. How confident were you on the last lap that you feel like you were in the right position, or did it all just kind of be just one of those moments where you have to just live in the moment kind of a situation?
Kind of both. I was confident that I could hold them off to a certain degree. When we got on the backstretch and Robert Hill and I got away from him, I didn't know what he was going to do coming to the tri-oval, so I just kind of hoped to God that he didn't time it perfect.
He nearly did. I mean, it came down to 1/100th of a second between the two of you, and that was pretty close there. Yeah. What was your strategy coming in? Because you started 23rd, so you started like dead middle of the pack. And with all the craziness, I mean, we didn't notate all the incidents that you were able to get through. I'm sure everyone has a story of how they got through some kind of wreck. I'm sure you have a few of those yourself. How were you able to navigate this carnage to be one of the few drivers to actually have a truck to be able to go for a victory here?
Well, Gerald, I've been doing these elite Daytona races for a couple years, and like the last year, I think I've been wrecked out of every single one of them. So I changed the mindset of trying to be up front, away from the carnage, to just right in the back, 2/3, let everything happen, and then we'll see where we end up. And just ended up in victory lane. Apparently, I guess that wasn't the plan entirely, but hey, I'll take it.
Well, you did a great job. Like I said, a lot of aggressiveness that you had to do to get yourself up there, and you did just that. Able to get away with victory here helps your chances of making the chase And as I stated, with now them allowing championship drivers, I think you kind of figured how hard it was going to be just to even make the chase. But this is absolutely going to help you in that aspect there. What's your goal now? Is it just kind of just live the Daytona champion vibes and just go from here on out, or what's the game plan here going for these chases? Still try to go for a max amount of points.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna enjoy this. This is awesome. This is the place you always want to win. Uh, no, the plan is still we're gonna make the playoffs and we're gonna go compete for a championship. We got close last season. Just the caliber of guys that are ahead of me, I didn't really have a chance, but just wanted to see how close we could get. This win definitely helps build confidence in myself that we can go get it done.
Absolutely. Well, we want to go ahead and let you do your thank yous and shout outs and congratulations once again because you, sir, are a Daytona champion.
Gotta thank the team Abbott Motorsports, everybody there. Leighton Norgard, my teammate, Andrew Hardcastle, they both were pushing me in that outside lane before that last restart. I owe them a ton. Gotta thank Ledge.gg, Tanks.gg, Six Sigma Sim Racing, their brand new sponsor this season. One race, one win. That's awesome. So
Absolutely, Corey. Again, I don't think this is going to be the last time we talk to you this season. I think we're going to be having you up here a few more times. I feel good vibes for you for this season. I think you're going to have a strong run. So we'll see you back on the racetrack in 2 weeks at the road course. So maybe the super speedway will confidence will come into play when you race the infield as well.
I hope so.
Well, congratulations once again, and have yourself a wonderful night. I'm sure you and your friends there are gonna live it up here for the next couple hours.
Oh, thank you, Gerald. Yeah, we're gonna party. We're gonna party for a while. This is awesome.
Well, again, congratulations. That was your winner there. Excited as he is, again, he finds himself pretty much locked in. But we're gonna go ahead and see if we can pull up our second place driver here. I believe that will be Robert Hill Jr., another driver that's got to be very excited about how he finished here. Definitely had some hairy moments that we notated a few times there, but overall, I mean, there's probably a few things that you couldn't even count on your hand of times that could have knocked you out of this race. But overall, find yourself coming oh so close, only 1/100th of a second from being able to get the victory tonight, but comes home second. After all the craziness, I don't think you're too disappointed with the second place after everything that's happened. Are you, Hill?
Gerald, how could I be disappointed after that, man? Like, I should have died at least 5 or 6 times in this race. We came so close to hitting the inside wall in the front straightaway. It looked like we were trying to go road course racing. When we tried to dodge a huge wreck, we missed that one. We missed some on the backstretch. We got clipped a couple times. We hit some people. I turned myself off Alex Gray, and we still came home second. I mean, I thought I won. I was screaming in the Discord, but man, so close.
Absolutely. We notated it. Even at the finish line, you still somehow find yourself going towards the road course. You did know that's in 2 weeks from now, didn't you?
Well, we wrecked out early in the Daytona 24, so I felt like I still had a couple stints left in me, so I wanted to make that turn down into turn one, and it it just was not the right track.
Absolutely not. But again, fantastic run. Was there really? I mean, I honestly felt like with how the outside lane checked up, there was not much you really could do until the outside lane started to build back up. Was there really anything else you could do to try to get that run to pass Corey? Because I mean, if it was another 30, 40 feet past the finish line, as far as the start and finish line being, I think you would have probably taken it. But was there really anything you could do coming out of turn four to try to get that?
Not really, no. I mean, I was kind of stuck. Like, I had to push Corey at that point. I restarted seventh with 2 to go, and I was able to work my way up. The outside didn't get going, and Cutlip kind of moved up to try to work that line. And I knew I had to stay on Corey to push him as long as I could, and then I knew I had to I had to take the opportunity to try to make a pass, and Jonathan did a great job getting to my rear bumper, and he could have won this race very easily tonight. He was really good in I believe his first truck race ever, so good job by him finishing fourth. But I just wish I had, like you said, another 50 feet, and we would have been in victory lane tonight.
Absolutely. Well, you, maybe the Rolex was just getting all the bad luck out of your way because you definitely had a lot after that for sure. So maybe this can kind of replace the bad feels from the Rolex and starting off the season very strong with a second place to try to work your way up to trying to get into the chase. And again, 2 weeks from now, we'll be back at the road course, so maybe you can still take that knowledge of the racetrack and apply it to there. So maybe you'll have a little bit of advantage over the competition when it comes to knowing the track layout a little bit better than some others. So it's still not a cut loss on all that practice time, but I'm sure tonight is a step in the right direction for you and your team.
Yeah, absolutely. We made the championship. Well, we made the playoffs last year, and it didn't necessarily go the way we wanted. We had some really strong runs. Just some of these guys are so damn good, and we definitely need these opportunities early in the season to try to get those points, build the points up, and kind of work our way through the year. I mean, basically the whole month of March is a really strong month for me coming up. We go to Martinsville, then we have a doubleheader at Lanier, Homestead, and Texas. Those are all great tracks. So I'm really hoping to have an opportunity to pick up a victory there. And tonight was a great opportunity working with a couple new guys on the Pro Edge team. And then this was the first truck race this season for the two guys on my team, and Josh Personette and Brandon Zimmerman. Both of those guys did a great job tonight. Obviously, JP had his issues, but he still finds himself fifth or tied with me in points after tonight. So did a great job with stage points, and I can't wait to keep the season going.
Absolutely. As you are my team owner for the Cup Series, maybe we can be able to get you a team win for the Daytona race. But yeah, almost got it to you last week. Almost gave you one last week. But overall, like I said, great run there, Hill. And again, I don't think, just like we told the last guy, we don't think this is gonna be the last time we talk to you. You definitely. Sometimes it's the start of the season that really gets your momentum going, and this is a great way to get it going for you for sure.
Absolutely. Really hoping to be able to take advantage of the momentum this season and try to pick up a victory or two, and just keep having fun out there. That's the main thing. But, just before you guys send me off here tonight, I do have to thank Dave Huckleberry. He came on board as my sponsor this season in the truck series. We got Hux on board, hoping to give him a good run the rest of the year. And tonight kicked it off well. And just in case we don't get back here in the Cup Series, I got to thank Roasted Gems Coffee, which is actually owned by Brandon Zimmerman. So be sure to check out their website, use coupon code MOUNTAIN, and save 10% on your order.
A very good shout out there. It's almost like you announced for part time for a living, but
once or twice.
Once or
And
twice.
I do just quickly have to thank all the guys at Pro Edge, Fueled Up, and Mountain Man for all their help tonight. Races like this you cannot do without your teammates, and I have some of the best in the business.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, again, congratulations on the second. Go live it up, and again, we'll hope to see you again back on the broadcast here in a couple weeks from now.
Absolutely. Have yourself a good night, guys.
Well, that was Robert Hill Jr. there getting himself a second place. Let's go ahead and bring up our third place driver here. That would be Joshua Freed. Hey, Josh, you were able to survive tonight, and I think that was the key thing with all the craziness that happened. Only 11 drivers really in the main pack there. Able to just survive is an accomplishment, but you were able to find your way up there for a third place finish, barely getting it over Jonathan Cutlip there. Overall, would you take this as a positive gain for how everything kind of played out tonight?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for how much damage I had and how many wrecks I was avoiding tonight, a third place finish at the end of the day is a good feeling, especially to start off the season on a positive note. So it was a wild ride out there, but definitely happy with the result.
Absolutely. Well, again, just being able to get from 60 drivers down to 43 for the race, and then for 43 to being able to survive and finish third is a number cruncher there. That's pretty impressive. So again, a podium finish is nothing to laugh at there. As we saw the carnage really play out, what we were wondering, and I was making some statements because I hadn't done the trucks here at Daytona for quite a while. It looked like the trucks were very skittish a little bit, especially upon the pushing and holding the lane. Was that kind of what we were seeing out there?
Yeah, it definitely feels like that, especially up front. If you get a big push, just with the back end, just feels so much lighter than like the Cup car or Xfinity or something with less weight back there. So it's definitely a lot easier to turn somebody around if you're swiping back and forth on the back bumper. So you definitely have to hit your mark here in the trucks if you're pushing, and I think we definitely saw a lot of that tonight.
Absolutely. We did see that really being what caused most of the issues here. But as far as the season goes, a good third place finish is going to help you with trying to work it up. Again, we'll be doing some road course racing. The schedule really goes all around everywhere in the United States and all sorts of tracks. Uh, was this like a very like a point of wanting to make sure that you had a good finish for the start of the race, or was it kind of just go out and try to get the win, and it didn't matter if you wrecked out or not? What was your thoughts coming in?
I mean, super speedways are always a big wild card, so I want to just try and be there at the end for a good finish. It's all about chance, in my opinion, to win one of these races. You gotta be at the right place at the right time and miss a lot of wrecks. So, definitely just wanted to stick around and be there at the end for a good finish, and was able to accomplish that today.
Absolutely. Well, we want to go ahead and let you do your thank yous and shout outs. As again, third place finish is definitely something to be proud of here, and we want to make sure that you get enough time to be able to thank those that make it all possible for you.
Yeah, I want to shout out my man Dickie watching down in Georgia tonight, tuning in. I know he tunes in every week. Glad I was able to get out there on the podium for him, and for Chad for always putting up a lot of work to get these leagues running together. They run really smoothly, and I have a lot of fun. So definitely thankful to him for all the work he puts in.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on your third place finish. We'll hope to see you again, maybe at the road course next week or 2 weeks from now.
Awesome, thanks guys.
Well, that was our third place finisher there. A lot of craziness we saw tonight, Rish. I think my takeaway would really have to be just if this is how Speed Weeks is going to be, try to find a hole and crawl in and try to survive the maybe like a hurricane shelter of sorts and just kind of survive the fallout from all the maybe I don't know if it's just angst of a starting of a season, starting of a new year kind of a situation. I think that might be considered as to what caused a lot of it. But as far as my takeaways, just kind of survival. We didn't really see the guy that won be the most dominant driver for the majority of the race. All those that were the most dominant were tended to be taken out. So just survive and find your way to be up there at the end was kind of the main goal.
Yeah, I guarantee you, by the end of Wednesday night, there is going to be somebody who is very, very sick of speed weeks, or I guess next Wednesday night it would be, is extremely sick of all the racing we're doing here at Daytona over the course of the next 2 weeks. So, man, I mean, I love the racing that we get here. I think it's always so intriguing to follow, and of course you get some shock winners like tonight. But man, I definitely can see some of these guys getting pretty sick of this stuff and ready to move on pretty quickly. So still a lot of action though to come on the Elite Racing Network, of course, with the race tomorrow in the Xfinity Series cars, and then we got Cup Series qualifying coming up on Wednesday with the 500 the following week Wednesday.
And technically, not the last race at Daytona on Wednesday. Technically, the trucks will be the last race at Daytona. This will be the last Super Speedway is the following Wednesday. But Speed Weeks is kicking off with excitement for sure. With Corey Abbott coming out the winner tonight, definitely a surprise victor, I'm sure for most. But good job for Corey Abbott to get out there and get the victory and just putting a statement out that he wants to be known that he is a championship running caliber driver. And no better way to do that than coming out strong with a victory. But we want to go ahead and thank everyone that made this possible, all of our sponsors. We do appreciate you so much. And we appreciate our new series sponsor, Stay Tuned Sports Podcast. What a great showing for their first ever series race that they get to have a new driver like Corey Abbott coming out, a Victor, and just a lot of craziness to kind of set up their series stay here with us in the truck series. So a great opportunity for their name to get out there because I'm sure a lot of people will be remembering this race for just the sheer craziness that it all brought to us. But overall, we want to thank all of the people tuning in to watch this. We do appreciate you joining us as we get to be able to show all the great racing here in the truck series, and there is still a ton more to come. If it's anything like the last few seasons, it's going to amp up. The drivers' intensities will continue. We'll see drivers starting to get down each other's throats in aggression, and we may see some rivalry start to brew as the season goes along. So tune in so you can see the drama play out both on the track and at the finish of these races as we will be back here once again in 2 weeks at Daytona at 9 o'clock. We appreciate you joining us, and we hope to see you again. And we are cutting it at night here at Daytona as we let the track rest until we get back here on Wednesday to do the Gatorade Duel. So once again, we appreciate you. Have yourself a wonderful night and get some rest.